Greetings, CCISD. This is Cary Perales, and today I'm at Kostoryz Elementary, and we're meeting with some grade 5 students and a grade 5 teacher, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Today we have
Ware, 5th grade math.
Awesome.
Sophia Nevice. Cameron Jaggard.
Awesome. And we are getting to the core. You guys are pros. I love it. So today we're going to be talking about math. And Lori, Mrs. Ware, I've known you for quite some time, and I was so excited when I saw you and I saw that you're going to be the person. I was thrilled because you are an amazing teacher.
Thank you.
You even then were a librarian for a little while,
Yes.
and now you're back into the classroom,
Yes.
and you're just a phenomenal person. I don't know if you know that or not, but I want to be you when I grow up.
And I wanted to be you when I first started.
Very good,
Yes,
very good.
yes.
Well, I'm glad we're here today. So we're going to get to the core, and we're going to talk about math. And I think grade 5 is super important because grade 5 really is the foundation that can set the tone for the rest of your math career.
Absolutely.
So Lori, kind of tell us about how do you kind of set that foundation for your 5th grade students?
So we talk a lot in 5th grade. We have lots of time to dialogue and talk about math, and we talk a lot about building. So building on what we know. I talk to the students a lot about don't forget what you learned in 4th grade and 3rd grade and 2nd grade, because now that we're stepping it up. So we usually start slow, and then they know that I tell them, and now we're stepping it up. So we get to that step up, and that's usually a little bit harder. It takes our concept and it stretches our thinking. So we do a lot of pre-work to get there, making sure they're understanding their foundation and what they have, and then build upon that. So we talk a lot about that, and then we talk a lot about what's going to happen next year, because they're leaving us from elementary, and they're leaving our 3 rotations, smaller class sizes, going into middle school. So I really stress to them a lot about remembering these strategies, remembering your critical thinking. Think a little bit higher because it's coming, especially on their testing or STAR benchmark testing, and MAP. MAP really stretches their thinking. So we just really talk a lot about it and dialogue. And I try to remind them, and they do a really good job of reminding me. They're like, oh, we learned that in 4th grade. And I'm like, so everybody knows it, right? Because we've all been in 4th grade. So that's how we try to step it up a little.
Step it up. So before I get to the math part, I want to know, what do you think of your teacher? Tell me about her. You've got an opportunity, open mic. Describe, what is she like?
What I think of Miss Ware is she's really nice, and every time we're having trouble, she will always try to help us, and she always tries to help us with our strategies. And if we're stuck in a problem, she tells us how to get out of it and how to solve the problem.
Oh, nice. And what about you?
Miss Ware is the teacher that will always be there for you. If you ask her to do something or ask her to help you with this situation, she'll be there. And I like her as a math teacher because whenever she talks about the math we're learning about, she goes really into it, and it explains what we're learning about.
Nice. Oh, that's good to hear. Yes. So tell me about your favorite math lesson. Think back. What is a math lesson that you all have done that you feel like it was a good lesson, or you just really like it, or maybe it's a skill that you excel at?
My favorite lesson that she's ever taught has to be multiplying or dividing decimals. And I like it because it's easy, but also it could be hard sometimes. And there's many ways to get out of a situation that we're in.
Ah, you're right. There's lots of different ways to solve a problem. What about you?
Ordering operations. I really like those because I think I forgot what I got, but it wasn't simple, but I learned a lot of new stuff about the parentheses and stuff.
Very cool. Awesome. Is that nice to hear?
It
Like they
is.
know
I
the
love
terminology and everything.
I know. We stress a lot about vocabulary, so that really makes me happy.
Yay! So when it comes to like the curriculum, the way CCISD has it all rolled out, do you find that you dive deep into that and use the materials, or do you feel like you have to go find other stuff, or how does it work when you're getting ready and planning?
Oh, no. I think that it's wonderful. I was, as you mentioned, out of the classroom for a couple of years and then came back. So this framework, this new way they have the IGs printed and so detailed, very, it's not I guess you would say self-explanatory. I mean, it's there for you and you just go into it. I do find myself going deeper into the Sharon Walls curriculum and picking it apart. Taking the parts that I know I'm going to need and building upon that instead of just page 1, page 2. So as a teacher, I am using the IGs a lot more. I like the little click-ons and everything's there for me.
Yeah,
so I
so
don't
nice.
have to go finding this page in this book and making a copy here. I also have never used Lumio before.
Oh,
So this
so that
was
was
an
new.
amazing year for me to learn Lumio. I was very nervous, to say the least, because I'm very technically challenged. So I was able to use the Lumio a little bit over the summer and then started really working with it, and it's just, I love it now. I'm okay. I made it through and we all survived. So so Lumio is something too that they've included, and it makes it so nice to just have everything right there for me. The pages are there, the work is there. If I need to step it up, it's super easy to take that curriculum and just go forward with it. So that works really well.
And then you guys, how much do you all use Chromebooks in the classroom, or how do you?
Yes.
And do you interact with the Lumios, or how do you all use your Chromebook?
We use our Chromebooks by, she gives us like a code, and we go on Lumio and enter a code, and then we type that code and join into her class. So whenever you do that, like whenever we get into her classroom and start math, we get our spirals, and then we hop onto Lumio and type in our names, and then like she'll have her screen up what she wants us to do for in the beginning of class.
Awesome. And do you like using your Chromebooks during math and different subject areas?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What do you like about it?
It's touchscreen.
And do you all, go ahead.
Many people in our grade really like the touchscreen.
Ah, so the touchscreen is very popular. Yes.
Yes.
Well, good.
Especially when we play games, because they can quickly
Yes.
get in there,
Yeah.
so they really
Quick
like
access.
that.
Like
Yes,
Who,
yes.
Look it or quiz.
Oh, very nice. So
Yes.
you use lots of different technology tools other than Lumio in the classroom?
Yes,
Yeah.
we try. So the kids really love the Look It, and again, I was old school. I was like, plickers, hold up the card, and the kids are like, what is plickers? And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to retire already, So they introduced me to Look It, so
Yeah.
we jumped right in that, and
I love
now
it.
when we're working on a concept, they're like, can you find a Look It? So that just adds to that level of engagement.
Yes.
So I use that to my benefit, because it really helps me when I'm walking around watching them and looking and like, are they getting it? And I can see their responses. And so it's
Good. That
a
academic
fun thing.
monitoring is so important
Yes.
to make sure that every kid is on track, because there's nothing worse. Has this ever happened? Not, of course, in Mrs. Ware's classroom, but where you've worked on an entire page of work and you did it all wrong. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I just did this whole page wrong. That's the worst. So that's why we really want teachers to walk around and look, because you
Yes.
don't want anybody stuck, and you don't want anyone doing something wrong like 50
Exactly.
times. Yes.
And another way that we've stepped it up just a little bit more, and I know lots of people in the district use different technology, but we started using the iPads in math. And so I'm using that iPad a lot more, so I'm not tied to the front of the classroom. I'm not
Nice.
tied to the smart board. And I'm behind groups while I'm talking, and I'm
Love
able
it.
to monitor and self-correct right away.
Yes.
And a lot of times as I'm monitoring, I can see everybody's getting that same mistake, and I'm like, note to self, and I can quickly make that note, for myself to go back and reteach or find some material that would lend itself to that skill, to get better at that.
That's awesome. That's something that we've been really working on. In fact, Seth and Melissa have been working on helping teachers learn how to mirror to their iPad so they're not tethered, like you were saying,
Yes.
and really walk
It's
around.
been amazing. Again, when I
Yay.
first started, I was like, iPad. I was like, I play games on the iPad. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So it really, though, was a very seamless process. I was able to just hop onto that Lumio, and then I started writing, and I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I really love this. And then we've taken it a step further, and we're actually academic monitoring that way as well. And so we have our, classes set up that way, and I'm able to make quick notes and go back and help as needed, especially when I'm calling small groups. I've got all that information right there.
Awesome. That's incredible. So I have a very important question for you guys, because I like to ask all students this, is what do you want to be when you grow up? And does it have anything to do with math, or do you see how math would tie into it?
Well, what I want to be when I grow up, I really want to be a professional soccer player.
Oh.
And for me, it relates to math because sometimes you have to like kick it at a right angle, like the right angle, or like pass it at the right angle. So that's why I think
That's awesome.
That's why I like soccer a lot, and that's what I really want to be when I really grow up.
I love it. You know, both my boys play soccer. I have one that plays for Trinity University. He got a scholarship to go there. And then I have one that's in middle school that plays soccer. So that's all I watch is soccer.
Soccer.
Yes.
Yesterday, I had soccer practice, so that was cool.
Awesome.
At the beginning of the year, I got picked for a starting soccer team.
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah, and we had lots of tournaments because even the coach said, if you're going to be on this team,
You're going to have to travel.
Yeah, you're going to have to travel.
I understand. I live it every day. And Sophia, what about you?
Probably like a doctor or nurse, because like kind of in my family, it's not like a tradition, but a lot of like my aunts, especially my mom, she does a lot of doctor stuff. And right now my sister's in high school, and she's like, she wants to be a doctor, so she's like taking these classes or something. I don't know what they call it, but they're like taking classes so she could end up being a doctor like my
Oh, very good. Where does she go to school at?
King High School.
Ah, okay. So it's probably I think they have like a phlebotomy class or something. Yeah. Very cool. And do you think math is important for doctors and nurses to know?
I think so, because like whenever I ask my mom like how her day was, I kind of get like a hint, because like there's like different, like you need to know like their blood and stuff, and you probably have to like round it to see like the total of it.
Okay. I'm sure you're correct. There's probably lots of math in there, but something to research too.
I already know,
That's your
I already
area.
know if my mom had a good day or a bad day with the way she walks in.
Gotta love those mamas.
Yes. And so my last question for you, Mrs. Ware, is what is your hope for your students? Just in general, what's your hope for your students?
I think my biggest hope for them would to never stop learning. I think that sometimes as teachers, we just focus on the grade and did they pass? Did they get the score, that they need? And I do want them to get that score, and I do want to be in the good graces, But at the same time, I think my biggest thing for them is that growth and that continual learning. So when we talk about concepts in class, I talk a lot about real world. How does this relate? Where are we going to use this? Those kinds of things, because I want them to see that we're all learning all the time. I learn on the way to work. I learn all the time. So as they grow, I want them to never stop learning. I want them to be curious. I want them to not just take what somebody says as the answer,
right.
And I don't mean to, be bad about it, but, to just research, like you said, do a little thinking on your own, and just be lifelong learners, because I think that as educators, we know that, but I'm not sure we impart that, to our students. So I really want our students to know that I'm happy they pass, but did they learn something?
Right.
And what did they learn? Where are they going to use that? What are they going to do with that knowledge?
Yes.
So that's
forever
my biggest
learning.
takeaway.
Yes. If you take that advice right there, you're going to go really, really far.
Let's hope. And be famous, and don't forget your teacher.
Yes.
And like Miss Ware always says, the more you know, the more you grow.
The more you know, the more you grow. Well, that is a perfect ending to this podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys were fantastic. So that's going to be a wrap for this session. Thank you so much. This is Cary Perales, and we're getting to the core.